of Studio, what's up and welcome to today's cardio set. We have a little sprinkling of some hip health, a little segment I'm calling hip health in this set today. And this is a pretty fast-paced class. The title of it's not HIIT, which it isn't HIIT, but we only have a few movements to do that are gonna get your heart rate up. And I'm gonna take you through a really lovely warm-up and then that hip health segment before we take up the intensity. So for the warm-up, you will need to have wedges if you have them. Hopefully you do from yesterday's session, and a light kettlebell that you feel comfortable strict pressing and doing an eccentric pull down in a warm-up capacity. We're only going to go through this part one time and then we'll hit that hip health segment, which you will need a chair for that if you have one. We're going to be practicing some reverse pistols, so don't get scared right away. So we're going to start out with a 90-90, hip 90-90, and I'm feeling my hips from our deadlift and squat classes, so maybe you are as well. Hands can go behind your back to help keep your chest up, and you're just going to switch your knees like this. We're going to do this for 45 seconds and then take a 15-second transition break in between sides. If you're feeling pretty good and open, hands can be in front of you just like so. I was thinking today, I wonder if you guys have been wondering why I've been wearing socks lately in classes. Maybe you haven't, but the bitter truth here is that I have the worst pedicure in the history of the earth right now because I haven't got my toes done since I took a beach vacation. And you know, one of them's missing some nail polish. It's just a mess. So I was hoping to not have to subject you guys to that. So socks until I get to the nail salon. We're gonna hit pry squats next. Let's go ahead and grab your wedges in this little transition break. And like we talked about in the squat class this week, the only reason we're really using wedges is to push ourselves forward a bit into our squat. So this can actually make your squat feel more comfortable than heels on the floor. I like to use them for that reason. Can really keep my chest up, get my knees forward. So similar thing here, but this one's gonna feel nice because you'll pick your bell up with me just like so, come onto your wedges, and then sit low into the bottom of your squat, and then just let all the tension go. So we're gonna hang out here and sort of move into our hips side to side. Whatever feels good for you here. If it feels good to just sit and work on pushing the kettlebell in front of you, or to just let your hips be kind of loose, move around in a circle, this one is up to you. And of course, if you don't have access to wedges, you can keep your feet on the floor. That also works too for this one. If your feet are on the floor, you might find pushing the bell out in front of you a little bit more feels a little bit better here. So we're gonna be in this one for another 5, 4, 3, 2, bell can come down to the floor. You guys can go ahead and just move your wedges off to the side. We're gonna take a 20-second segment of pogo hops, start to get a little impact here, and then some easy body weight reverse lunges. So let's go feet underneath our hips. We're gonna think of head to the ceiling and impact into the floor. So I want you to actually think about pushing into the floor as you go up and down. So we should be getting a little bit of a rebound here. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So calm it down for a second and then just start stepping back into some reverse lunges. So in the program, if you're doing classes like this one, following the program it's in, we had some reverse lunges yesterday, very few of them. We have a lot more today with a double rack to get your heart rate up. So this is a bit of a warm up for that. So I don't recommend that you use the heaviest kettlebells that you've ever used for these lunges today, but that part can be really tough if you're a little more advanced and feeling pretty good. So let's be here for 3, 2, and 1. So next up, final 2 parts of our warm up. I'm gonna use a light kettlebell for a strict press, concentrating on the eccentric, that slow pull to the rack. So again, do not make this a heavy weight for you. I want this to be a moderate weight. We're really working on posture here, getting our core warm, getting our overhead warm, because we do have some jerks or split jerks today. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, pick up your weight, press it. We're gonna come down 3, 2, 1, glutes are tight. We push it up again. 3, 2, 1, in through the nose before you go up. Breathe out as you push, and then I like to do a few of those little power breaths that we sometimes do in a plank, abdominal contractions. As I pull it down for that eccentric. Let's take one more. Bell goes up, pull it down. Okay, set it down here, shake it out. 15 seconds. We got one more side to do, and then the warm-up is done. I wonder if you guys are all wondering about what's happening under the socks, but that will happen another day. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go again. We're gonna try to hit at least 4 to 5 reps on this side. Other hand should be nice and tight. Push. We'll go 3, 2, 1. Squeeze that other hand again. Push into your feet. 3, 2, 1. Very good. Let's try to take one more rep here together. All the way up and then down. 3, 2, 1. Shoulders should be nice and warm. Maybe feeling some of the past sessions from this week. Okay, we have a little segment coming up that I call hip health. We're gonna work your hips a little bit, just get ourselves really warm for this cardio set. And those of you that wanna work on a bit of mobility and strength with your hips, so it's a fun one. We're gonna continue it in some of these cardio classes. So you will need, hopefully, a chair if you don't have one. I'm gonna give you a modification that you can use your wedge with if you don't have a chair. So go ahead, get that out. You also wanna have a light kettlebell with you. Most of this is body weight, but we are gonna practice a half kneeling bent press hold. We've been working on those a little bit, so just make sure you have a weight appropriate for that, and we'll get started on your hip health. First part of this segment, it's important to note here too that we're only doing this one time through. The first part might make you laugh out loud at yourself a little bit, especially if you've never done this before, and I just want you to kind of go with it because this could be interesting. We're gonna try to do some leg lifts in a seated position, just like I did there. And you're gonna feel a lot of things in the top of your quad, in your hip. Some of you might be like, oh shit, I can't lift my leg off the floor. If that's you, that's all good. I want you to pretend like you're lifting it. So we're gonna take little lifts. One foot could be down like this as you lift, or you can have both of them straight, but hands can be behind you to keep your chest up, just like we did in those 90-90. So we're gonna start with those leg raises. Then we're gonna take a reverse pistol squat to our chair. I'm gonna show you that as we go through our transition. We have a little rest break in between, and then those half kneeling bent press holds. So go ahead, come to a seated position wherever you're at. You can bend one leg like this and push your feet down. Toes should be pointed back towards you here. Let's go ahead and start lifts in 3, 2, and 1. We have a 40-second little interval for this one. And you might find turning your toes out just a little bit will give you a little more inner thigh work there. Turning your toes in a little bit for some internal rotation, you might feel that differently. Point those toes to the ceiling and know that you do not need to take a bunch of these, but I don't want you rolling your chest down like this. So even if you need to slightly lean back a little bit to try that out, go for it. You're here for another 5 seconds. Normal if you feel the front part, the top of your quad in your hip area. You're here for 3, 2, and 1. Okay, shake that out. We have 20 seconds on the other side. Let's see how my left leg does. It's always, a surprise when this happens. So it's this top part of your leg, your groin, your outer hip that you might feel. Okay, guys, let's start it out. Let's hit your other side in 3, 2, and 1. So toes flex back. We lift. Ooh, my left leg actually feels like I have a little more range of motion on this side. Let's try it out with my foot down. You could even lean forward just a little bit to lift, but try not to egregiously lean back. We want to try to keep as much of our shoulders over our hips as we can without flaring the ribs, without compromising lifting up our collarbones. So we're going to think of lift those to the ceiling. Maybe try turning the toes out. Ooh, maybe try turning the toes in. Do you guys hate me for this class already? A little experiment for our cardio. I promise you, you're going to be maybe looking forward to those double rack reverse lunges after this. We've got 3, 2, and 1. So shake it out. So in this little transition break, I'm going to show you a reverse pistol. So what you're going to do is stand, pushing your weight into one foot, other one comes up, toes are flexed back just like we did on the floor. Then you're just going to sit down and catch yourself in the chair. Stand up. Some of you might be here and then use your foot to help you come up. If you don't have a chair, you could get your wedges out just like so and try sitting down in a narrow stance squat with your kettlebell. So you could come down all the way to the bottom here and then push to come up. You'll just repeat that 2 times because we have 2 sides with the reverse pistol. So let's go ahead and get started. You're gonna stand close enough to your chair that you can actually sit on it and not fall down. So we'll go our first side in 3, 2, and 1. So this would be the first side that you did for your leg lifts. If you need to make this a little more challenging, if this isn't that hard for you based on your chair height or just your strength level, add a kettlebell to your chest. Hold a weight here. You're gonna have to push through that standing leg to lift yourself up. And guess what? You're gonna be heavier with that weight. So keep moving through this one. You have about 15 seconds and then we're gonna hit our other side of this one. After this, we're gonna go into our bent press holds in that half kneeling position. So working some rotation with our hips. Okay, take your break here. We have just about 15 seconds. We'll shake it out and go to the other side. Sometimes it's normal if you have foot cramping in this one, so just go with it. Shake your feet out a little, turn your ankles a little bit. Let's go into your second side. Pick your bell up if you're using one. 3, 2, and 1. So we'll sit and come up. Notice my chest is up here. I'm not leaning forward to lift myself up. We want to try to use only that stable leg to push and to sit. So this is the first step of your pistol squat. So we're just reducing the range of motion here that you need to come down for this. There is literally no reason that you ever in your life need to do pistol squats. They are not required. They do not mean that you're stronger, better, or more fit versus not doing them. Depends on the person, but if you've ever had a goal to learn these, this is a great first step. You're here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So go ahead, come down to the floor. We did a lot of half kneeling work in our last session, and we're just gonna continue that. So we're gonna practice the rotation of the bench press in the half kneel today. We did this in the standing position in our last class, so just a little extra practice. Let's go ahead, bring your kettlebell up in 3, 2, and 1. Remember here, you can always do this with body weight. So we're just gonna turn, and we're gonna practice holding here in this position. Maybe turning your palm in slightly. You can rotate and come back. I want you to try to at least find this position and hold without your hips moving around for 2 to 3 seconds on your own. It might depend on how heavy your bell is. So I'm gonna lift, place it on my lat, try to keep my hips nice and compact here, and then come right back. You're here for another 3, 2, and 1. Let's try to hit at least 3 reps together, maybe 2 on our second side. So foot comes forward. If your bell feels a little heavy, you can keep it kind of close to your body. We just want to get this rotation feel so we can imagine bending down without crunching right here. Let's go ahead, bring your bell up. 3, 2, and 1. So we're going to bring it over, hold here. Try not to let your hip shift out. We're going to pull it in, and then come back to your center position. We can lift, place it down on the lat, turn the palm in, use your front foot, and then pull it back in. Let's do that again. Hold it out, hold it back here. Remember, body weight is awesome in this one. We'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, come back in, set your weight down. Guys, we finished the hip health segment. I hope you liked it. You can leave me comments if you did or didn't, or if you hate me from those leg raises. We got some cardio to do, so I want you to get out 2 moderate weight kettlebells that you can do at least 6 double racked reverse lunges in on one side in 30 seconds. I want you to get out a bell that you feel good for 3 to 5 jerks or split jerks in a 30-second time frame. So you don't have a ton of time. You're not gonna get a lot of rest in that one. And then a bell that you feel comfortable doing single arm swings with for 6 reps on those 30-second intervals. We're gonna go through supersets of those movements, moving down the list in an A-B format. So all your equipment out, get ready to sweat for your cardio segment. One of these cardio supersets is going to last 4 minutes. That includes the built-in rest break. We're operating on an every 30-second interval 4 times through, but you have 2 things or 2 mini intervals within that set. So the first one, we're gonna do double rack reverse lunges. The first 30 seconds, you're gonna hit one side, set your weights down. We'll clean them. The second 30 seconds, hit your other side. You're gonna repeat that 4 times. We'll rest for 2 minutes, and then we'll come into the jerk and split jerk in the same format, and then we'll hit the single arm swings in the same format. So just 3 movements today. If jerks or split jerks are not for you, I always say you can default to your push press. Little less of a learning curve on that one, but you could also combine them if you're practicing your jerk and want to try a few reps in your segment today. So I'm going to give you guys just a few seconds. We're going to pick our bells up. Let's hit these reverse lunges on your left side in 3, 2, and 1. So bells come up. We're gonna take our left foot forward, right foot back for those 6 reps. So I want you to think of lifting up your elbows, making sure that you have a nice solid footing here, pushing through the floor as you do this one. Remember I said this one is going to burn just a little bit. Hit those 6 reps, find your perfect rep count for your weights. You do need to have some rest. Right now, you have just about 5 seconds until we go into the next side. Let's go 3, 2, and 1. So same thing, right side. I'm feeling the other classes we've had this week in this segment. Maybe you guys are too. I'm like, there's my glute max It's alive. Okay, so between each set, you only get about 15 seconds. Modification, one bell at your chest. That is an option if double rack is too much. The reason we're doing double rack is because this is a cardio set. Let's go again in 3, 2, and 1. I want you to be getting your heart rate up here. Whoops, wrong leg. So think about the weight that is going to keep you breathing a little bit heavy, like I'm starting to in this set, and that you're still able to execute a really clean lunge with. This is your 10-second warning here. You are going to be halfway through after this set. So try to stick with that feeling of being out of breath. Let's go ahead, hit your other side. 3, 2, and 1. Should be second round on your right. For me, sometimes the thing with teaching is talking and breathing. So I really want you to concentrate on getting your breaths in. Don't hold your breath. It's gonna help you sustain these next 2 rounds. Okay, I'm gonna try to shut up and do this one with you guys. 3, 2, and 1. So for 6 reps there, no talking. That was exactly the 15-second mark for me, which is where I want you to kind of aim for this one. Okay, we got another side. Then we have one more set to do, guys. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Remember, in your lunges, I want you to avoid shin coming back like this. Try to think of this like your knee moving a bit forward. Okay, we have one more set of these to do. Glutes should be awake now, my friends. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Breathe through this one, guys. Very, very good here. Whew. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. You guys got this. Whew. Last little bit for 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we are relaxing here. Did I just forget your last round? I feel like it's possible. So I'm gonna give you time, just in case, because my brain just did a freeze right now, to finish up your other side right now, if that's what you need to do. I don't know why, I just completely blanked, but I know this is the last one at least. So we're gonna take a rest break after this, finish up that last side. If I messed it up, my brain just was counting reps and not rounds. So after this, heart rate should be up. We're gonna take a 2-minute rest break here. Part of this 2-minute rest break is me telling you about the jerks and the split jerks. This rest break starts now. So when you do this, I want you to have heavy of enough weight that you feel challenged, but also something that you can move for 3 to 5 reps. You now know how long that 30 seconds feels. It's not very long. So if you're someone that takes a little time to kind of adjust in your jerk, I would say hit 3 reps this time. If you're feeling really confident, try those split jerks for 3 to 5. See how you feel the first round. You can always take your reps down and adjust them in the consecutive rounds. So push presses again for your modification, but if you're taking the jerk, remember we are dipping, keeping our shoulders over our hips, knees forward. We're gonna think of driving our hips and dropping under, catching the bell, standing up. For our split jerk, we're gonna try to keep the foot that is moving forward under the bell. You could do either side, but sometimes this is a little more stable. So I would dip, drive, and catch in my lunge. These are gonna be very similar to your pogo hop landings, so that pop to the floor, that impact, I wanna see that in the split jerk. You have to catch yourself on the ground. So I would say the more force you can apply into the floor as you drop, the better, and it should make an audible sound. So if you're in an apartment or somewhere where maybe someone is below you, they might be able to hear you, make that impact. 2 minutes sounds like a lot of break, but it's almost over. You have 30 seconds until we go into this jerk and split jerk segment. After that, it's single arm swings, super simple to finish, but if you use a heavy weight for that, it's definitely gonna keep your heart rate up. So let's go for just about 15 seconds. We'll go for those 3 to 5 reps, one side in the first 30, one side in the second 30 for that total of 4 minutes of work. Okay, here we go. Roll your shoulders back. Let's breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth. 3, 2, and 1. So we're here, dip, drive, dip, pull it down, dip, drive, dip, pull it down again. Jerks can actually be quite fast if you really have a handle on them. That was 3 reps for me, and I felt like that was a perfect amount for this interval for where I'm at. You might take 4, it says 3 to 5 for a reason. You might take a little less rest. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. Since this is only a 4-minute segment and you have 2 minutes to completely rest after this one, maybe you want to push it in the jerk a little bit more and go into more of the intended rest time. So maybe you have 10 seconds between sides. True superset here, we're already into our second set. I'm gonna try that split jerk this time. Okay, breathe in, breathe out. Let's go, guys. Bring your bell up in 3, 2, and 1. So I dip, catch, stand, dip, catch, stand. We have like 1 helicopter a day in the studio here, so let the soothing sounds of that city life just come into your kettlebell jerk timing here. Okay, we're gonna hit your other side. Split jerks for some of you, honestly, might feel a little easier than doing the regular jerk. I'm gonna tell you why in this segment. We're gonna go 3, 2, and 1. So sometimes the hardest part of the jerk for people is the dipping under the weight. This one, we're actually moving our body down. We're actually catching ourselves at the bottom. So it's a little less of kind of that motion. It's more of a tactile drop. Round 3 is coming up in 3, 2, and 1. So you might find the timing of the split jerk a little bit easier than the regular jerk. It's honestly probably a personal preference. If you're somebody that feels very strong in your reverse lunge position, you can hit this sort of hip width stance in your lunge quite easily. The split jerk is gonna feel a lot easier for you. Let's go ahead, go to your opposite side. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. Split jerks are great to learn because we're working again on I guess this one I would call kind of like a tactical skill. A couple things going on at once. You're getting a little impact. You're getting work for your hips. You are almost in your last round here, so let's go ahead and get ready for it. And you are 3, 2, and 1, really able to catch yourself with power moving under a weight. So it's a very power focused movement, a lot of hip drive, strength, stability needed. A lot going on to make that movement happen and to make it effective. So if you are getting that one, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck as far as power is concerned in that movement. Very athletic. Okay, here we go. Clock is on for your final set. 3, 2, and 1, or I should say final side. Final side within your final set. Definitely okay if your heels come off the ground in your jerk on the way up. Mine don't necessarily do it here because this weight's a little light for me, so I don't have to work as hard to lift it. But if you have a heavier weight, which I hope you do, you can get the heels up a bit and then push them down on the descent. Okay, you're here for 3, 2, and 1. Guys, you made it through your B movement. We have one more left to do. This is your 2-minute rest break before we hit single arm swings. So let's go ahead and move your lighter kettlebells off to the side. We are going to hit those single arm swings, and we worked on these quite a bit in the program previous to this one called Strength Era. A lot of heavier single arm swings. We're continuing that through this program, and one reason that we do this is single arm swings are a little less, I guess, a little less intensive on the total body than a snatch would be. So this is a great way to build up strength in your hinge, build up some endurance, build up some cardiovascular prowess without going over your head in the snatch a lot. So combining single arm swings with a snatch practice can actually help make your snatches better. It can also help you not burn out on a lot of the overhead moves. So I like to keep these in programs, sometimes a little more than 2 hand swings even, because they really work a lot with anti-rotation, a lot of core control in this one. So that's why you'll see these in programs, and that's why I start to recommend you practice them a little bit heavier as you're getting used to it. So if you've been using the same bell for single arm swings for multiple months, try out a heavier one for a segment like this where the rep count's kind of low. There isn't as much rest break, obviously, but this is a good time to even intermix your bells. Maybe do 1 set with the heavy, maybe the 2nd set with your lighter, the 3rd set with your heavy, and the final set with your lighter. So there's ways that you can start to incorporate heavier swings into your repertoire without just, doing them cold turkey. We have about 15 seconds. I'm just noticing too, my kettlebell has, this is kind of hilarious. I'll tell you guys about it. It has on the bottom of it, because I store them in my little laundry room, kind of funny. Anyway, let's go ahead and hit your first side for 6 reps in 3, 2, and 1. It has like OxyClean on the bottom of it. So that's what that white powder is if you're looking at the bottom of my bell and seeing it fly in the air. This is quite the class. Maybe I need to use some of that OxyClean to get the bottom of my white socks clean after this. Okay, so from this moment, you guys have just about 10 seconds. This, I would say, is the segment where you're probably gonna get the most rest out of all the other ones. Let's hit your 2nd side in 3, 2, and 1. Remember, big reach back with your free hand. First side is finished. You have 2 more rep sets to go. I want you to breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. We're really gonna focus on your feet being connected to the floor. Big reach back for your opposite hand. Exhaling during your hip extension on this one. Okay, let's go ahead and hit your first side. Round 2 in 3, 2, and 1. So in this set, I just finished those swings in just about 12 to 15 seconds. Usually it's 2 seconds per swing, and you will, in your swings, if the bell gets heavier, it might slow them down slightly. So you can plan like 2 seconds per swing if you're wondering how many reps you would get and how much rest you get if you increased or decreased. Let's go your 2nd side, 3, 2, and 1. Again, we're really having to work our hip extension here. We're having to work that powerful hinge. You're halfway through this set here, so I know you might be fatigued from sessions earlier in the week, especially if you're doing this one in the intended program order. So think of this like the last little shakeout. We've got 3, 2, and 1. Try to stand up tall. Try to give every single swing, everything you got here. So big hip thrust. Use your feet, push them down. Very good, guys. Breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth. 15 seconds until we go to our next side. And then we have 1 more set to complete your cardio session for today. Okay, here we go. Roll the shoulders back, tall posture. 3, 2, and 1. Highly recommend that your feet are not too wide here. Hammer grip. Totally fine, guys, if you want to turn your hand this way. So palm is in, bell is facing the other direction. All good. Some of you might even find you have better grip that way. So try it out. You don't have to try it right now, but try it out when you start going heavier with these. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Final set. Can't emphasize how much those of you that overhinge like this will benefit from keeping your eye gaze on something straight in front of you the entirety of your swing, not moving your head. Let's go ahead, go to your last set. Let's pay attention to that gaze. 3, 2, and 1. Bell comes down. Whew, so 2-minute rest, but actually your class is over. So let's go ahead, come down to the floor. I want you guys just to lay on your back and let your knees windshield wiper side to side. Maybe get a little crack in your back on each side. You're gonna get a little foam roll action on your hips on each side. And then we're gonna just hug ourselves into a little ball, roll around on your lower back, go the other direction, lay down, and then let's go ahead today, bring our knees into that internal rotation position. Try to push your knees together and walk your feet out as far as they'll go, where you can still touch your knees together, and then think of pushing your thighs together. Breathe here, let everything go. You can even bring your arms down to the floor, melt yourself into the floor. Breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. Very good, guys. So nice. I want you to close your eyes here. Take a 3-second inhale through your nose for 3, 2, 1. 6-second through your mouth. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, I think we've sealed the deal for today. That was your cardio set. I will see you guys in your next Bells Up Studio session. Remember to get real, get strong, and get your bells up. Bye.